Now we'll be talking about molar mass. Unlike the common term, in this case, molar is not referring to your teeth, but it's talking about chemistry moles. So if you recall, 1 mole of any substance is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, whatever of that substance, whether it's ions, particles, formula units, molecules, atoms. Now what we're going to be talking about, though, are the mass of those moles. Similar to the dozen, if we have a dozen cars and a dozen roses, just because we have the same quantity, 12 and 12, they are definitely not the same mass. The same works with chemistry moles. The molar mass is then the mass of 1 mole of a substance. So how many grams are there in 1 mole? And we measure it in grams per mole. Another way to write this would be to say you have X amount of grams for 1 mole of whatever substance. So where we find these molar masses is going to be your best friend in chemistry class, the periodic table. For example, helium. If we have 1 mole of helium, according to the periodic table, the mass will be 4.00 grams per mole. So if we had a balloon and the mass of the helium inside that balloon was 4 grams, we would have 1 mole of helium in that balloon. If we had a compound such as carbon dioxide, we would first need to look at the formula of carbon dioxide, which of course is just CO2. Then we need to look at the masses of each individual element. Carbon, if we round to the nearest tenth, is going to be 12.0 grams per mole. Oxygen, again, rounded to the nearest tenth, 15.99, is going to be 16.0 grams per mole. If you notice, though, there are 2 oxygens. Each one of those has a mass of 16.0. So we can just multiply this by 2. This would give us 32.0 grams per mole, just looking at the oxygen part. And then carbon is putting in 12.0 grams per mole. So the molar mass of carbon dioxide would be approximately 44 grams per mole. Your challenge is then to use symbols from the periodic table to come up with at least 5 words. They don't have to be real compounds, just make words with the symbols. Then you are to find the molar mass of those 5 words rounded to the nearest tenth. Couple of rules. Must be appropriate. Keep it clean, so no profanity. Don't use proper nouns, so don't use people's names, places, or brand names. Must be at least 3 letters long, and you need to write it out so you can easily tell which symbol is used. And it must be in English. So for example, if I use the word cup, I used cobalt, so that's why there's a big C and a little O. Cobalt has a molar mass of 58.9 grams per mole, and phosphorus has a mass of 31.0 grams per mole when I round to the nearest tenth. Added together, the molar mass of cup would be 89.9 grams per mole. You can repeat symbols in your word, but please do not use slang.